if I'm really honest, to have a certain level of success, I do believe you do have to be obsessed with it. So it depends what your goals are. If your goal is to be successful, but then also have weekends and also have a certain standard of relationship and have family life, that's not wrong. That is your goal and you do that. But when people say that to me, my goals are I want to be exceptionally good at this one thing. Yeah. And that is going to require a certain level of dedication.
Welcome, everyone, back to the School of Greatness podcast. Very excited about our guest today. Lilly Singh is in the house. Good
I
to
am
see
in
you.
the house. Thank
Good
you for having me.
I am pumped. We have a mutual friend, Humble, the poet.
Shout out to Humble the Poet.
Told me I had to get you on. I started researching more about you. I'd heard about you before. I'd seen photos of you in Lindsay Sterling and Cassie Hose.
Love.
And Justine, they're always posting about you. So I was like, I got to meet this girl.
The sisterhood of YouTube.
That's
for
it,
sure.
right? The unicorns.
The unicorns.
Yeah, yes.
I know. They came to my premiere dressed as unicorns.
I saw that.
Actually.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
That was the first time where I was like, do I have friends? I think I might have friends.
Those are like super friends.
Yeah,
to do
exactly.
That.
Yeah, it was nice.
And I thought I would start out. I asked Humble, I said, what's the thing that Lilly is known for you that maybe most people don't know?
Mm-hmm.
And he said she's got superhuman strength. Yeah. Like literally super strong. She can lift things.
See, when you said strength, I thought you meant like mentally strong. And I was like, that's so
too.
sweet.
Yeah.
But the physically strong, I'm like even more flattered.
So here's what he said.
Yeah.
He said we need to do an arm wrestling contest.
Ooh, okay.
And he said you'd be surprised.
Well, you will probably win, but I think you'll be surprised again at how much.
I will.
Am I allowed to hold this?
Hold whatever you want.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Ready?
She's like bringing the grip around.
Okay.
She's got
I'm stronger in my legs usually, but I'm already making
Oh.
excuses. So here we go. Ready?
How do you?
Yeah, I go.
Oh, she's pretty
You're
good.
letting me win. Okay, but you see, there was a little resistance.
There was a little
right?
bit of strength. Yeah.
You know what? Growing up, I was so independent, and I remember my family was moving. I refused to let anyone help me move things. So I was like, I'm gonna lift my TV and take it downstairs, and I'm gonna move this dresser. And so I think I was so stubborn that really I just forced my body to keep up with my mental stubbornness.
I like it. I like it. Maybe Humble's just a little weaker. And so,
to be fair, Humble is not the most physically strong person. I feel
he's an artist.
Yeah,
right.
He's strong in penmanship.
He's great.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. Super strong mentally and physically. You've got a book called How to Be a Bawse, a guide to conquering life. Make sure you guys pick this up.
Thanks.
And it is very inspiring. You wrote it entirely yourself. A lot of great lessons of things you've learned from everything you've been through in your life, from personal to family to health to relationships to business. I think you just posted yesterday, you're the number one influencer in the world on Forbes. What did Forbes rank you as? Like number one YouTuber, influencer,
they have a top
entertainment
influencer list. And so in the entertainment category, I was number one.
Entertainment. Yeah. Number one entertainment influencer in the world.
I guess so. Yes. Actually, I'm not going to be questionable about it. I'm going to own it. Yes.
Bawse.
Correct. I posted this yesterday saying how.
I saw that.
Yeah,
you were
part
like,
of it.
I didn't want to share this,
yes,
but then
I'm trying to get better at that.
Yeah,
not being, wary of my accomplishments.
Promoting
being like,
your
no.
accomplishments.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
it's an art form. It's a dance on how we acknowledge it, right?
And someone we both look up to that we have in common is Dwayne Johnson, who I learned from is it's okay to promote your accomplishments because he's such a great guy and he works so hard.
Yeah. Well, I've never met him yet, but his quote is on my wall.
Yes.
So I've been priming my space for him to sit right in this place.
I'll put in a great word.
Yes, for sure. But I think it's really cool that you're putting yourself out there and you're acknowledging it, because I think if you don't acknowledge these certain things, not saying you have to share it out on social media, but if you're not doing it, then I think you're not acknowledging how great of a person you are and what you're up to in the world. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm curious, so many great lessons in the book, so many things you've accomplished. What's the greatest lesson you've ever learned?
Ooh, the greatest lesson I've ever learned. I think something I struggled a lot with in my life was, when I decided to make YouTube videos, I came out of a very dark period in my life, and that was at the end of university. And prior to that
university
moment,
in Canada is
in
high
Canada.
school in the U.S. What age?
It's college in the U.S.
What age? What
so
age is
I
that?
was like
because it's very different.
Early 20s or 19s, 20s, something like that. It's a college. That's college for
US, college and university is kind of the same thing here. It's like when you graduate high school, then you go to college or university.
So for us, it's you either go to college or university as well, but university is 4 years as well.
Got it.
University. I was at York University getting a psychology degree.
Yes.
And up until that point in my life, I don't know if it was just the culture I grew up in or other family members I had that were walking a path, I really did genuinely believe that life was very linear. I thought you're going to go to university and then you're going to get a job and then you're going to get married and then you're going to have kids. Was everyone around me, that's what they did. And I didn't see life as this fluid thing that you could create your own path with and do whatever you want. I was just like, this is the way life is. And one of the reasons was because of school. I really do believe in education, but in school you learn certain things. You learn subjects and then you learn science and then you learn a whole bunch of things and it's very by the book. Psychology, one of my biggest issues was I'd read this whole chapter about a theory and the last sentence was, but this might not be true. And I was like, oh, okay.
There's no facts.
You're killing me here, Freud. You're killing me. So one of the hardest lessons I've learned in my life is that you don't actually learn a lot about yourself and what will drive you as a human from school, unfortunately. I don't feel that way. You know, you learn about time management maybe, writing skills maybe, but when I went through depression in my last year of university, I was like, nothing I've learned in school has prepared me for this. Nothing I learned in school told me that I had to work hard at being happy. And no assignment I've ever done made me work at improving myself. And so one of the hardest lessons I've learned was everything takes work, not just your school assignments, not just your exams, not just the job you want or the job interview you want to ace. It's working on your mental health, working on your happiness, working on what is it I actually want to do and work for and what are my values and what are my beliefs. You need to work on those things. And it sounds silly to say, but that's not common sense, I feel, when you're growing up. You literally think you're supposed to have those things. You're supposed to have happiness. You're supposed to have good values. No, how? Where do these things come from? You have to work on them. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I preach about in this book.
Yeah, and there's no class in school that taught us about how to have inner peace.
Yes.
Or how to love ourselves.
Or if that even existed.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is what you do. And, you know, I guess our parents are supposed to do that, but sometimes they don't do the best job or they're doing their best.
Or sometimes maybe they don't even know because they were never afforded those opportunities to ever learn about their inner peace.
And if they're stressed out and depressed or they're going through challenges, then you're modeling what you see.
100%.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's really cool that you're talking about how to love yourself.
Yes.
And acknowledge your accomplishments.
Yes, thank you. I do believe it's a crucial step. And I think when I talk about it, I know people in their head, they're like, okay, what is this Tumblr quote time? Like, love yourself. Right. But really, once I start to love myself, everything else kind of fell into place in my life.
Yeah. Why do you think you were going down depression last year?
There was a few things. I think one was that, you know, when I was younger, I used to be really creative. I used to be the middle of the dance floor at family parties, always, I want to bake a cool cake. I want to do this dance performance. I want to write a poem. And then the school system or my family, whatever, convinced me that it's time to grow up. You now need to pick a job and pick a major. I remember going into university and them saying, pick a major now that you want to do for 4 years because that's going to now dictate whatever job you get. Life. Yeah, and I'm like, I have no idea what I want to do. And so I was forced into this mindset of, now's the time to figure it out. There's no more messing around and playing around and you can't do these creative things. And so I think that was one major reason. You know, I was doing something I didn't enjoy. I was going to lectures for 3 hours I hated and I wasn't interested in. And I had a lot of trust issues with my friends as well. I'm not going to lie. I ran into a lot of issues with my friends because growing up, I've always had major trust issues. I don't know what it is, if it's just like the sexism naturally embedded into the culture I grew up in, but I had a hard time trusting guys. I had a hard time trusting my friends when it came to guys I knew as well. And so like I had a lot of just unresolved issues in my brain. They all boiled into that last year of university, the pressure of exams and figure out your life. And now you got to do this. And I just was like, I'm done. I can't do this. Wow. And I kind of shut down.
Wow. Okay. Who was the person that you were in a relationship the most that gave you the most pain?
The person I was in a relationship with the most that gave me the most pain, I would say...
Or the experience.
You know what? I think, and this is going to get real deep, I think there's an obvious answer, which is going to be the friends I had a falling out with. But I think that's kind of a scapegoat for the real issue. There's two. One is that my parents are the best people on the planet to me. But prior to me going through that really dark time period, we never really had an open relationship. Like I wouldn't talk to them about a lot of things. They wouldn't really talk to me. And not because we didn't care. We just didn't know how to. Yeah. You know, we didn't talk about a lot of things growing up. It was just, you're the parents, you provide for me and you care for me and love me. But if I have a problem at school, you're probably not the person I'm going to talk to about it.
Right.
And so I would say that lack of openness probably caused me a lot of pain.
With your parents?
Yes. But also the that caused me the most? No, it was myself.
Yeah.
The old me that didn't believe in myself and didn't think I deserved to be loved and just accepted crap in life. That version of myself caused me the most pain, to be honest. That version does not exist anymore. I actually do care about myself as a person and value my happiness. And the greatest thing that came from me overcoming that dark period was a big way I overcame it was talking to my mom.
Really?
And so I always tell people one of the greatest things that happened in my life was depression, because my relationship with my parents now is amazing. And I'll never forget that day I went home and I just started crying. And for the first time ever, my mom was like, we're going to talk. And I was like,
wow.
What? I think actually what happened was, oh my God, you're already getting stuff out of me that I haven't talked about. I was in my car. I got home, I was in my car, and I remember having just the worst day ever inside, not to anybody else, but inside the worst day ever. And I was parked on my driveway, and I just remember crying in my car. And then I didn't realize that my mom pulled up, and she had seen, I guess. And so when I got inside, she's like, we're going to talk. And the thing is, like, so many people had pulled up to my house, and she was the only one that noticed. And so we had this conversation, and I just spilled my heart out to her, telling her everything that was bothering me. And since then, we've just had such a great line of communication.
How old were you then?
I'm so bad with ages. This was a university, so 20-something. Yeah, exactly.
Or this is the last year?
The last year, sorry. The last year of university, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you opened up, you became more vulnerable to her? Is this what it sounds like?
And
kind of shared all
vice versa. She also, I mean, since that day, my mom has told me so many things about her life that really explain who she is as a person that I don't think she's told anyone.
Right.
I really value our relationship. She really confides in me and tells me things like her deepest, darkest fears, and that's really special.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful
creates
stuff.
the ultimate bond, the ultimate connection, and the ultimate level of trust.
100%.
And level of just acceptance, right? When you start to reveal certain things to other people and they reveal to you, it's like you start to understand and accept.
100%, because we can always try our best to put ourselves in other people's shoes, but that's at the end of the day just a figure of speech. Yeah. To actually put yourself in someone else's shoes is to know their experiences and what they've gone through. And so, you know, to your point of our parents are sometimes doing the best they can. Yeah. When I learned so many things about my mom that I've never known before, I thought, wow, she's actually going above and beyond to what she has experienced in life, which was, she's gone through some things, man, and she did her best. And I think I turned out all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Number one influencer in the world.
You know, Mom, not too shabby. Hi, Mom.
What would you say, who was the most influential person for you, your mom or your dad?
I'm going to have to go with it's kind of twofold, but my first answer would be my mom, just because I think I've spent more time with my mom, and I think we have more in-depth conversations, me and my mom. And she's gone through a lot of adversity as well. I think I don't want to come across as if my entire upbringing was completely sexist. No, that would be a lie. That would be me exaggerating. But, you know, the South Asian community, the one I grew up in, does have levels of sexism embedded into it. And so when you contrast my mom and dad, my mom definitely had to face more adversity when it comes to what was expected of her and what she had to sacrifice and things she had to do. And so I think, especially being a woman in entertainment, I relate to that and I see that and I know that I'm so outspoken because she taught me how to be that way. Yeah. When it comes to business, though, a lot of things I've learned about business is through my dad.
Really?
My dad is a great businessman. He's great at speaking to people. And I worked with our family business for a long time. And so
What's
I think
the family business?
So he controls a territory of gas stations in Toronto. And I used to work as a cashier in one of them. So I used to kind of work for my dad for a little bit. And I used to see how he would assign certain goals to people and how he'd bring the team together. And I think a lot of those things I've learned and tried to implement into my own life as well.
One of the things that our mutual friend Humble told me about, I was like, what's something that really inspires you about Lily? He goes, her level of work ethic and hustle, whether she's working fast food or some job she hates or putting together furniture, is like the same level of energy and passion and hustle across everything you do in life.
Right.
He said he's really like inspired by that. Where does that come from and why do you do that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know where it comes from. Part of me thinks that, and this is me being really honest, I think it's a great pro and a strength, but often at times it's also a really big con.
Why?
In my life. I'll give you a prime example. The other day we threw a barbecue for when someone on my team got engaged. He's sitting right over there. And I threw a barbecue and I was like, all right, I'm putting simple barbecue and get some stuff for the barbecue. And then have barbecue. Great. Then I'm like, I should do a fruit plate. And I was FaceTiming Humble. And this is why I know he said this to you, because I was FaceTiming Humble. And I was cutting strawberries into stars and balling melons to make them look like flowers. And he was just looking at me and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, why are you putting this much effort into this fruit bowl? And it did not even occur to me. I was like, why wouldn't I spend 5 hours on this fruit bowl? What do you mean?
5 hours.
And I think it's just that I like to challenge myself. And when I do anything, I treat it as if it is the most important thing. And that's great because then I get to do amazing things like this that I'm really, really proud of. Yeah. But then also I spend 5 hours making a fruit bowl. So it's kind of problematic.
Making your bed for 2 hours.
Yeah, it's I haven't gotten there yet. But it's, I don't know. There's something in me that's just obsessed with improving and productivity all the time. And when people ask me, how do you do that? Don't you get tired? The answer is, I don't know. I don't get tired. I get tired of doing a lot of things, but I don't get tired of making this one thing the best it could be.
You obsess over it.
I obsess.
Do you think there's something underneath it? Like, what if you didn't have the perfect fruit bowl?
I mean, it wasn't perfect. The kiwis were kind of whack.
Oh my gosh.
I'll say that.
Oh.
I think it's just we have X amount of energy in a day. And if I'm going to spend that energy anyways, why not just spend it on doing something really well? It really bothers me if I just do... here's an example. If I take a break, I usually watch a TV show. And in my brain, it's not just me, I'm going to do nothing and watch a TV show. In my brain, it is, no. You are going to get inspired, but you have to proactively watch this TV show now so you can get inspired.
It's like homework. It's not relaxing.
And I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with productivity at every level and being the best I can be and extracting the best I can out of everything. And it's obsessive.
Who do you want to be?
Who do I want to be? I want to be... I don't want to fill anyone's void. You know, I think Humble and I learned this when we were in Italy. We had the honor of talking to Pharrell, and he said something that really, really impacted me. When Humble was asking him, Humble said something like, I want to fill the Andre 3000 void. You know, that's what I want my music to be. And Pharrell was like, you should fill the Humble the Poet void.
Ooh.
And I was like, ooh. I mean, Humble talk about that all the time. And that got me thinking where I don't want people to be like, oh yeah, you could be the next Mindy Kaling. You know, they're just saying that because I'm also a brown girl. I don't want people to be like, yeah, you could be Amy. No, I want to fill the Lilly Singh void. I want to be the best version of myself that gives me goosebumps. You know, I want to make little Lily get goosebumps when she looks at my success. That's what I want to be.
I love the dedication that you had. I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
Dedicated to the person I was 6 years ago. I told you to keep going. Thanks for listening. It kind of reminds me of the Matthew McConaughey speech.
Oh, yeah?
Did you remember seeing his speech? Was the Oscar where he was like, my inspiration is myself 3 years from now, and like chasing that guy who's going to achieve those things that I want to achieve. And it's like, what do I need to do now that's going to make that happen? And like always chasing that myself, not someone else.
Right.
So I think it's cool that you kind of dedicated to that.
Yeah, I was thinking long and hard about the dedication. I'm like, of course I want to dedicate to my mom. Of course, it's all these people. I put them all in the acknowledgements. I'm like, cut the BS. The person that's actually dedicated to, that actually got me here, is the person that was like, I feel like crap. I'm still going to get up tomorrow. That person.
That inspires me. I just finished my book, my next book, and I might have to change my dedication.
Really?
And give you the props for the inspiration. Not saying the same thing, but do it in my own way.
You don't got to give me any props for the inspiration.
No, I like
I'm just
it.
letting you know.
I think it's really cool. Because I dedicated my family in the last book, and I'm like, okay.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Families are great.
But they're in the acknowledgments as well.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll change it up.
But I think sometimes as humans, we need to be like, we feel pressured to always be giving people credit and always be, and that's very, very important. But sometimes we don't give enough credit to ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
At the end of the day, it's still you that did the thing.
I love it. Now you went to school and you started becoming less creative. When did you decide that I need to kind of unleash my creativity again and bring this to the world? And how can I make a living?
Yes, I was doing it through a bunch of different things. In university, I did this thing where I started to bake cakes, like, Cake Boss, Ace of Cakes type stuff. I know. And I was like, I'm going to be a baker now and do cakes. And that was me trying to be creative, make them look like a purse or make them look like something.
They had to be perfect.
That also rarely happened, but I tried my best. And then I was part of a dance team. And I thought, okay, this is my creative outlet. I'm part of a dance team. But the thing that always held me back in any of those endeavors was the fact that I always felt my success was dependent on other people. So the dance team is the greatest example of that. In True Lilly fashion, I was like, we're not just a dance team. No. we're going to take over the world through dancing. I want the biggest dance team. I want the best dance team. I want all genres of dance being performed. I want the best costumes. And when you have 15 people on your team that are like, we really are just here to dance for 15 minutes. We ain't trying to have a dance empire taking over the world. And that used to frustrate me so much because I would be showing up at practice, putting in my own money, staying up. Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the things I learned was that's not actually their fault. You know, people have different priorities and that's okay. It's my fault for trying to implement my priorities onto other people that simply did not have them. When I was in my last year of university, I discovered YouTube, which did not exist when I was younger. And I remember watching these videos thinking, there's people in their rooms making videos and people are watching them? Like, what is happening here? And there was a few creators in my community that, you know, had a few videos and I didn't really think anything of it. I thought it was just them. Then when I went more into YouTube, I saw, no, people all over the world are making these videos and this is a thing. And I spontaneously one day put up a video online. I thought nothing of it. It was not even comedy. It was so far from who I am today. It was actually a spoken word piece about religion.
Yeah, I heard you took it down, right?
I took it down not because it sucked, because I have many sucky videos up. I took it down because it just does not represent who I am anymore. But it was so awkward. I was so uncomfortable in it. And as bad as it was, I just fell in love with the fact that I could write whatever I wanted, say whatever I wanted, edit it however I want, promote it however I want. And no person around me impacted that success. There was no one else I had to rely on. I learned how to do everything myself, and that I fell in love with. And so without thinking, I posted a second video. That was comedy. It was based on a linguistics argument I had with my friend. And I posted another one. And then suddenly I found myself thinking, well, how can I get better? How can I learn how to edit more? How can I write better? Just like the fruit bowl. Just like the fruit bowl. And then it snowballed into this brand and career.
It's amazing. Yeah. And do you still edit all your videos?
So as of recent, a few months ago, I do have an editor on board that helps me.
Really? Just as a few months ago?
Yes. So for the past 6 or 7
Holy
years,
cow,
I know,
you're
which
crazy.
is 6 or 7 years of me dressing up as different characters, moving my tripod,
it must
writing.
Take forever.
Not only did it take forever, it got to a point where it wasn't enjoyable anymore because I played so many characters and I shot and I edited myself.
And you wrote the scripts.
Everything. And so I remember shooting these videos.
That's exhausting.
By myself, dressed in a beard, looking around like, what the hell am I doing with my life right now? Because I'm not having fun doing this and this should be a fun career. And that's why I decided to bring more people on my team. And now when I go on a shoot, I'm like, oh, I can do my job really well and have fun because having fun is important to continuing doing something. And not to mention my editor is better than me. You know, one of the things I've learned is that it is okay to be the dumbest on your team in respect to some things. Like I'm really good at what I do, but I will not be as good of an editor as my editor. And so we work very, very collaboratively where I say, I want it to look like this. This is how I want. And he does that. And sometimes he adds his own flair, which is even better. But it's still me having the creative control, but someone executes it way better than I ever could.
And it allows you to go relax or
do more work. Or do more work. It allows me to do more work.
Watch a movie and get inspired. It's just,
exactly.
I love your quote about, you already know this is going to be in the part of your book. We tried to do this game. It didn't work. The quote about the universe might respect the law of attraction, but it respects a good hustle even more. I really love that. Was there a point earlier when you weren't a hustler, or was it even when you were 5, you were like always hustling? And then how do you sustain the hustle for people that feel like, man, that just seems exhausting?
Is there a point in my life where I was not a hustler? Yeah, it was that point of my life at the end of university when I was super sad.
Yeah.
That, if anyone had met me during that time, they would not recognize me as who I am today. I literally got up at I still wake up at 3 p.m. sometimes if I go to sleep really late. I'm just going to be honest. My sleep schedule is a hot mess. Right. But I had absolutely no goals. I woke up with no purpose. Literally Walker from The Walking Dead. Did not care. Didn't care to accomplish anything. I didn't care at all about how the fruit bowl looked. Right, you know what I mean? Right. I was a different person. But prior to that, I do got to say everything in my life when I look back, it's been this need to do my best. And the greatest example is I remember I used to work at Harvey's, which is a Canadian fast. I think your equivalent might be Hardee's.
Yes.
Here in America. I worked it was my first job, a fast food restaurant. And I remember there was downtime and the store was empty. And so I was like, okay, great. I'm going to refill the cutlery. And I was doing stuff. And it did not occur to me that everyone else was just chilling. They were just like not looking at me fill these forks. And I remember hearing someone say this. And it was the most shocking thing I've ever heard. They were just like, you are just always got to do something. Like, you're always working. And I'm like, wait, are you guys not? And it was so shocking, but I didn't even realize that was a thing people did. Like, they just did not do something. And so I really think it's just something embedded within me that I haven't completely figured out why. It's just always been this need to do things and be productive.
Well, I mean, you look at the results. I mean, the results don't lie. You've generated certain results.
Nor do hips.
They do not.
You're right.
Do your hips lie?
Not at all.
Oh, all right.
Never.
Show me later. Okay. Like, do a little dance move. I mean, the results don't lie. And you've created specific results in your life because of this level of hustle and energy that's been consistent. And I think if people don't want to generate great results, then they can take a break and they can pause and, you know, not be productive in certain things consistently, and they're going to get those type of results. So it all depends on what we want.
It all depends on what we want. And I think the danger of, not the danger, but something I know people think after hearing this conversation is they think, well, that's very unhealthy. That's an unhealthy lifestyle balance. And people say that to me all the time. A lot of my friends are, you're always working, just come out with us. And here's the thing. If I'm really honest, to have a certain level of success, I do believe you do have to be obsessed with it.
You have to be.
You know, you have to be obsessed with it.
You cannot win a championship at any sport at the highest level without being obsessed. So
it depends what your goals are.
Depends what it is.
If your goal is to be successful, but then also have weekends and also have a certain standard of relationship and have family life, that's not wrong. That is your goal and you do that. But when people say that to me, my goals are, I want to be exceptionally good at this one thing. And that is going to require a certain level of dedication. And that is the reality of the situation.
Obsessiveness.
Obsessiveness.
All of your time involved.
Dwayne's a great example. Like, obsessiveness, waking up at 4, working out, no matter where he is. Like, that is an obsessive level of commitment.
And he gets incredible results.
Exactly.
But he wouldn't get those results without obsessiveness.
Exactly.
Without constantly creating and focusing on his health and building relationships and adding value to the
100%.
world and being nice to people. He seems like one of the nicest guys,
He is
right?
the nicest person I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I know people are just like, oh, he's just nice to you. Maybe it's... No, I can write a whole scientifically proven book as to why he's the nicest person on the planet.
Why is he?
Okay, he's the nicest person for a few reasons. One is that he is actually, you know, when you talk about power, there's many ways you could exercise power. You know, you could do dictatorship, like, I control you, thus I am powerful, and I can make you do whatever I want, make all these rules. And we see these types of people in the world, and they, regardless of if we like it or not, they have power. Another way to have power is to think, true power is how many people can I help accomplish what they want to do in life. That is a different way of looking at power. That's how he looks at power. And he does that through when he's part of a movie or when he's talking to me or when he's talking to any of his friends, he does not say you, he says we. That's his thing. When the first time I ever had a heart-to-heart conversation with him, I remember telling him this whole situation about, you know, I call myself Superwoman, I have a deal with DC, and I told him this whole thing about how obviously 7 years ago I didn't think my YouTube channel would be so popular, so I stupidly called myself Superwoman, not realizing it's trademarked. And I remember, I'll never forget his response, which was, I definitely think we should try branding more towards Lilly Singh, and I think we should do. And then he even caught himself, and he said, I keep saying we. Obviously it's you, but it's just, you know, we. And he was just so invested. And if you look at his movies, he's not the producer of all of them. He's not the director of all of them, but he always in his captions like, we've done what we can to put on the best movie for you, because he understands that is the more positive way of using power. Of
course. Yeah. If it's all you, it's a lot of pressure. It's very selfish, I think.
Exactly.
I try to make it about a group of people. And I know that there's no way, even I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a speech about this for a commencement speech, whether you like him or not or agree with him or not. He was like, there's no such thing as a self-made man. He's like, there are thousands of people that helped me to get to where I'm at. And it doesn't matter what I've accomplished. There's so many people on the team who've supported it. So we got to think about the team, the people you surround yourself with and who support you.
Yeah, Dwayne is all about that. That's probably the greatest lesson I've learned. To be honest, I was bad at that. I will call myself out fully.
You wanted to do it all yourself and have control.
Yes. And I was not good at delegating. And also I did have this internal battle when I moved to LA where I was like, wait, so many people need a cut of the money I make? That was a huge issue.
I'm experiencing this right now. It's like 10% here, 5% for lawyers,
me being really
10%
honest.
for business managers.
I was like, 100% of me is in front of the camera. Wow, y'all getting 10% of everything that happens.
I know, right?
And that was a struggle I had. And I remember sending Dwayne this email asking for his advice. And he said something that really changed my mind. He said, listen, everyone brings their expertise to the table, and therefore everyone deserves a cut. And that's how you will get greater results. And I blindly trusted him because I was like,
okay,
if Dwayne says it, it must be true.
It's so true. I was resistant to certain things. You know, this whole year I've been getting more and more people kind of courting with the results that we're getting and the brand that we're building. And I'm like, I've always done the business deals myself and negotiated every contract and speaking fees and partnerships and sponsorships. I was like, I've been negotiating it since I was getting $100 a sponsorship to where I'm at now. And it's like, I don't need someone else to do that for me. I'm good at this, you know. But the more I'm realizing, like, and the more people I talk to who have bigger brands, they're like, you just need the team. You need a team. If you want to elevate it to a whole other level, you got to remove yourself from some things.
Right, exactly. Because it goes back to you're really good at it, but are you as good as the person who that's their sole
it's like
job?
your editor, too.
Exactly.
You're pretty good at it.
Exactly.
But he's a little better, and it gives you time to do other things, right?
Exactly. That's the smartest decision you can make is understanding you're not the smartest at something and get someone who's smart to do that thing.
But you're pretty smart at a lot of things.
I'm pretty decent at editing, but could I do the things my editor does? Absolutely not.
Right. What do you think you need to let go of in your life in order to get to the next level for yourself? You're already number one influencer in the world. You're already one of the top 3 highest paid YouTubers of all time. You're already
since the beginning of time.
You're already
in a world.
Yes. You're already a number 1 New York Times best-selling author. You're already doing music and tours and dancing and taking over the world. What do you need to let go of, and who do you need to step into in order to get to your next level?
Something, and this is quite specific to what I do, something I need to let go of that I think a lot of people would be shocked to know it actually does impact me is I don't necessarily make content completely for views. You know, and I think my vlog channel is a great testament to that. My vlogs don't get a lot of views, and I've always told myself that's because...
What's not a lot?
Okay, so yes, let me put this into perspective. So my main channel in half a day should get 1 million views, a video. My vlog channel, a good vlog in 24 hours will get 150K. So it's significantly less. It's a second channel. It's not scripted. It's me going through my day, being myself. If people want to watch it, great. And I have a rule for myself that I refuse to orchestrate drama into my day for my vlogs. I just am not going down that path.
Yes. And
so something I need to let go of is that even though I make content I really believe in, and I think is funny. And you can ask my team. I'll sometimes be reading my scripts and watching my videos, and I'll be laughing at my own jokes. And they're like, "You're such a nerd." And I'm like, "But I'm so funny," and no one else is laughing. That's fine. But the challenge is that I have kind of been this very fast growing channel and done really well for myself. There are going to be people that surpass me in terms of views. There are going to be videos that don't do as well. And even though I know in my heart when I'm writing a script, I'm not thinking about, okay, this will get 2 million views. The struggle is that when you post things online, that's the only measure we have, right? I don't have a live audience.
Results.
Exactly. I care less about that when it's live. Of course, I still want the place to be sold out, but when it's not sold out and there's still 200 people that are screaming, that still feels like, oh, a message is getting across. The problem with online is the views are the only measure we have.
Comments, views, likes,
but I can't even read through every comment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there's
thousands.
no way, if there was a sea of positive comments that would make me feel like this video had a great message, I wouldn't be able to get through them all. The quickest number I can see is the view count. And so what I need to let go of is that view count actually validating what my content is. Because I don't want to be the person that makes content just for views. I want to be the person that makes content that gets people like Dwayne to be like, I want to work with you. That's the content I want to make. Yeah. I want to make content where Stephanie McMahon, when I was obsessed with WD, she's like, yes, I'll do a collab with you. And little Lily's like, yes, I'm glad you made this video. That's what I want to drive me. But it's been such a challenge because there's no analytic for that. There's only an analytic for the views. And so I need to really let go of that somehow.
And it's like a long-term game. It's like I'm creating content that maybe in a few years someone will see and inspired and they want to partner with me, or we want to do a project together that's actually more important than 10 million views on any video.
Yeah, and I do really believe, I genuinely believe this when I say it. It's just hard to implement every day, again, because there's no statistic. But the greatest thing that could ever come from me doing what I do is that years from now, if there was someone that accomplished great things, like someone who freed people, who got equal rights, someone who even became like some sort of world leader, and if ever in an interview they were like, you know, I used to watch this girl Lilly and she really inspired me, that is like really true, I think, inspiration and power and what I would want to accomplish. Because it's not only about my success, it's about everyone who might be inspired by that. But there's no statistic for that, so
That's
it's
tough.
hard.
Yeah, it's tough. Who's the most inspirational person in the world for you right now?
The most inspiration person in the world for me right now, with fear of sounding redundant, it's going to be Dwayne. Yeah, it's going to be. Of course, my mom is there. Of course, there's many other people in my family that inspire me, but the particular way Dwayne has inspired me, I think, is so unique. I think it's like a 1 in a billion story of the summary would be growing up obsessed with Dwayne. Like his pictures were all over my wall. My email address was therock85@hotmail.com. In school, I vividly remember winning a contest, and on the announcements to the school, it said Lilly the Rock Singh. Like everyone knew I was obsessed.